Tonight we are continuing on in our Show Me in the Bible series. Let me just explain something to you. Look how much we've done. This is how faithful you've been. We have completed all of these, and tonight we're up to one. Let me just tell you what's coming up. On Saturday morning, Sabbath morning, at 11 o'clock, we're going to be presenting the topic Final. Final actually goes through Revelation chapter 12. It is an amazing, amazing chapter. Make sure you're here for this one because it talks about things that are going to happen towards the end. It talks about the end time battle. In fact, after Final, you might have seen on the advertising that we put out, we're going to do two at once next Tuesday night, false and loyalty. So next Tuesday night we're going to talk about false and loyalty. And what we're going to do next Tuesday night is look at Revelation 13 and 14. Revelation 13 and 14 is how the devil is going to attack God's people at the end of time. So make sure you're here for that one. That one's going to be quite interesting. And then to conclude, not this weekend, next weekend, we're going to talk about Globe. Before we start though, on the weekends we have two services running here, and I presented over there last week, and Pastor Andre presented here. Now, I was over there, so I didn't hear what he said here, but I understand we were talking about 7, which was part of the 10 commandments that God has given us, not commandment number 7, but commandment number 4, which talks about the 7th day. But Pastor Andre, you had someone renewing marriage vows.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Well, we're talking about 2.
You're talking about 2?
Yeah.
Tonight we're talking about 1.
And on last Saturday we talked about 7 and 2. Let me share with you. It sounds confusing, doesn't it?
So we're talking about 10, 7, 2. Tonight we're talking about 1.
Yeah, numbers.
Yeah.
Just basically, there are 2 institutions that come from the Garden of Eden.
Okay.
The one is Sabbath, where the worship comes from and creation comes from. And the other one is marriage. God made Adam and Eve. And so last Saturday, we had a couple here that was married for 30 years. They asked me, hey, look, we would like to renew our vows. And we thought it was ideal because both the Sabbath and marriage deals with love and commitment. And so we had a service here. And by the way, there was a number of people starting to cry, not because of my sermon, but because they felt moved to see this couple make their vows again. It was just terrific.
It seems to be marriage is something that's fairly special and fairly great. So are you saying that not only is marriage great, but the Sabbath is just as good or even better? Or?
Yeah, well, the thing is, both of them deals with relationships.
Mm-hmm.
The one deals with our relationship with the closest person that we have that God has given to us, and the other one deals with our relationship with God. And so both of them are extremely important.
Cool. Yeah. I wish I thought of that when I was talking over there, but that's okay. We'll do something different.
Good.
So thanks. So yeah, there's something that we can look at and think of. Tonight we're going to talk about 1. Like Andre said, we talked about 10 when we talked about order. We talked about the 10 commandments that are there. And then on Saturday, on Sabbath, we talked about the 4th commandment, which is actually number 7 because we're talking about the 7th day. And like Pastor Andre said, we're also talking about 2. 2 are together as well. So tonight we're going to talk about 1. But before we do, why don't we just bow our heads and we'll ask God to be with us tonight. Father in heaven, Lord, we thank you that we can come and that we can open your word. And Lord, in opening your word, we're going to look at this important topic tonight. And we just pray for your presence, that you will speak clearly to us and we will understand what it is that you have done for us and what it is that you would want us to do. We pray this in your name. Amen. Can I be totally honest and open with you this evening? I'm in a little bit of a dilemma. And my dilemma stems from what I need to talk to you about tonight. You see, what I need to talk to you about tonight is entitled 1, as we've already talked about. But I'm really not sure what to do. And let me tell you why. I'm not sure what to do because we're running this series called, what's the series called? show me in the Bible. Here's the dilemma I have tonight. I can't. I can't show you in the Bible the topic that is being presented tonight. Because the topic that we're looking at is, well, hang on, if Sabbath is the special day, then what do we do with the first day of the week? Why do so many people go to church on the first day of the week? I'd love to say let's open up our Bibles and let's turn to that passage where it talks to us about, but I'm in a little bit of a dilemma because I can't. It's not in here. So thank you for coming this evening, but you may have wasted your time because I really can't do it, but perhaps that may get you thinking about things as well. So, well, because this won't help us much tonight, for now, I thought I'd read you a poem. Is that all right with you? Start with a poem. Sounds pretty cool. This poem is called The Calf Path. It was written by Sam Walter Foss, and it was written at the turn of the century. Turn of the last century. Wow. He died in 1911. Let me just read this poem to you, because it's pretty good. By the way, so here we go. One day, through the primeval wood, a calf walked home as good calves should, but made a trail or bent askew, a crooked trail as all calves do. Since then, 300 years have fled, and I infer the calf, of course, is dead. But still he left behind his trail, and thereby hangs my moral tale. The trail was taken up the next day by a lone dog that passed that way, and then a wise bellwether sheep pursued the trail over vale and steep, and drew the flock behind him too, as good bellwethers always do. And from that day over hill and glade, though through those old woods, a path was made, and many men wound in and out, and dodged and turned and bent about, and uttered words of righteous wrath, because 'twas such a crooked path. But still they followed, do not laugh, the first migrations of that calf, and through this windy woodward stalk, because he wobbled when he walked. This forest path became a lane that bent and turned again. This crooked lane became a road where many a poor horse with his load toiled beneath the burning sun and travelled some 3 miles in one. And thus a century and a half they trod the footsteps of that calf. The years passed in swiftness fleet. The road became a village street, and this before men were aware. A city's crowded thoroughfare, and soon the central street was this of a renowned metropolis, and 2 centuries and a half trod in the footsteps of that calf. Each day 100,000 rout followed the zigzag calf about, and o'er his crooked journey went the traffic of a continent. 100,000 men were led by one calf near 3 centuries dead. They followed still his crooked way, and lose 100 years a day. For thus such reverence is lent to well-established precedent. A moral lesson this might teach, will I ordained and called to preach. For men are prone to go it blind along the calf paths of the mind, and work away from sun to sun to do what other men have done. They follow in the beaten track, and out and in and forth and back, and still their devious course pursue to keep the path that others do. They keep the path, the sacred grove, along which all their lives they move. But how the wise old wood gods laugh, who saw the first primeval calf. Ah, the many things this tale might teach, but I am not.